Well, good morning everyone. We are in Cwmystwyth in Ceredigion. We are heading to Leominster today aboard Betty, my Ford Fairmont. But just look at this. That is some true dragon's breath creeping through the valley this morning. It's absolutely beautiful. So let's get going. So yeah, back in Betty. All those who thought that that's it, I've become an EV freak and just love my electric cars. It is not so, especially this morning. The route we've got to take, I was just like, oh, you know, an electric car isn't the car for this route. We're going cross country, very few charge points, so I thought it was time to give Betty a run. And I think some people may think this seems at odds with, you know, the electric cars. They're so much better for the environment and everything. Some people think that, but my love of electric cars doesn't come from the environmental benefits. I think there are some. I don't think it's a clear-cut thing, one way or the other. Travel is always going to have a cost to the environment. I don't think you can get away from it. There's always going to be something, whether you're wearing out tyres, whether you're using fossil fuels to generate the energy you need. There's always going to be something. So, yeah, it's... oh, I love Cwmystwyth. I'll show you some footage as we go through the mine. It's just beautiful. So yeah, I'm entirely happy to drive this enormous engine dinosaur, and just as happy driving this as I'm an electric car. I just like driving both of them. I like the driving experiences. In fact, my love of this car, I think, is because it does behave quite a lot like an electric car. It's very smooth. Most of the time you can't hear the engine at all, and yeah, loads and loads of torque. That's what I like about electric cars. But yeah, it's nice to be out in Betty. Poor Betty hasn't been doing the miles because fuel prices have been horrendous. They've dropped back a bit. I paid £1.56 a litre for fuel this morning, which is still a little jarring, but not as bad as it has been of late. But yeah, I do love this car. 317,000 kilometres on this car now. She had 294,000 when she came into the UK, so she has been busy, albeit since I got the Berlingo, obviously her mileage has dropped quite considerably. We're just entering the mines of Cwmystwyth. Used to be a huge mining community here. There we go, Cwmystwyth metal mines. Yeah, there used to be thousands of people living up here. It's hard to believe now. Lots of demolished buildings, all the slag heaps, all the spoil that have come out of the mines. Yeah, it's an impressive space, and quite dramatic in this mist this morning as well. It might be very misty as we drop down the other side. The valleys tend to trap the mist. Over the crest. Woohoo! I love this road. Betty, in truth. Oh, big crest here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that got the suspension extended. In truth, Betty is not the car for this road. Ellie is actually one of the best cars I own for this road. It just suits 2CVs really well. Keep the engine screaming. And of course, last year I drove the Fiat X19 on these roads, and oh my gosh, that was an absolute joy. You don't need power on these roads. Power doesn't help you because you can't really use the power. You'll just get to the bends arriving far too quick. And the Fiat X19 is perhaps the perfect mix of power and handling for these roads. Oh, it's just lovely. So a quick recap to people who've joined the channel. There are people subscribing all the time, so hello if you've recently subscribed. Thank you very much. You're helping us on our journey to 100,000 subscribers, which is a frightening number of people. But yeah, this car we're aboard is an Australian Ford Fairmont AU, or Ford AU Fairmont they prefer to call it, AU being the type. And she was built in 2001, shipped to New Zealand where she had a life before some strange bloke from England, or Wales I suppose technically I was at the time, purchased her to drive around New Zealand. So I've driven this car all around New Zealand. Not the very top of North Island, but the North Island, sorry, but everywhere else, all around South Island. In fact, we zigzagged all over South Island quite a lot. In fact, this time 3 years ago, we were just heading up from Invercargill. So we'd been down to Invercargill. We went to what's the name of the place? There's some point, I've forgotten the name of Milford Sound. That's it. In one day I did Invercargill to Milford Sound to Arrowtown, where I found a VL Commodore estate, which excited me very much. When it comes to the Holden Ford divide, I don't see one. I just like both of them. So down for this bit tight and twisty through here. Technically we are now leaving Cwmystwyth and heading into the Elan Valley, where there's a massive reservoir system that feeds Birmingham. The adventures I've had in this car are just astonishing, but I've had far more adventures in this country now. Did 8,000 kilometres driving around New Zealand, and have since done over 20,000 kilometres here in the UK. So yeah, I guess I like this car a lot. Miss Hubnut recognises that I do have a problem. I just adore this car. Yeah, this plan has backfired a bit. This is meant to be a shortcut, but then I'm sure it's just as bad going round the other way. Probably. Yeah, that's foggy. Look, the camera can't even focus. It doesn't know what to focus on because there is nothing. Well, we're down the other side, following the obligatory farm Land Rover. And yeah, it's quite misty murky still, but visibility has improved somewhat. This is the deliciously folksy little village of Pembridge. Probably not where you expect to see an Australian car. Poor Betty is absolutely filthy. We've been following that truck for miles. So yeah, less than ideal. But yeah, it's lovely here. There's barely a straight line in this place. Incidentally, the trip computer reckons we're doing 12 litres per 100 kilometres on the fuel. So Betty's having a good old slurp. That's the average for a few hundred miles, I think, since the last time I reset that. There we go, we are leaving Pembridge. Leominster is getting closer. We've been travelling for almost 2.5 hours now. It's a long way cross country, and the average speeds are very, very low. This is the most major sort of a road we're going to encounter today. And here we are in the market town of Leominster. Here in England. The very England that beat Wales in the football last night. Boo! Not that I was paying particular attention. I was too busy reading comments on the Ford Transit video. But yeah, we are very nearly there. Oh, see that little Fiesta there? Just head down here towards the railway, and then we should see Brightwell's premises. So yes, dread to think what Betty looks like on the outside, because the windscreen is absolutely filthy. I feel like I've done a rally raid or something, and I suspect I'll be running out of screen wash before too long. Over the crossing, and then Brightwell's is here on the right. So Brightwell's does all sorts of stuff. They do wine sales, they do classic cars, they do a 4x4 sale, which I used to report on for 4x4 magazine. There we are. Oh, classic motoring office down this way. Oh, Brightwell's classic garage, and at the front there is a little Zastava. And that is going to be the subject of today's video. Exciting. I'm curious now, just how filthy is my car? Oh yeah. Oh God. That is one mucky pup. I might have to clean the headlamps before I head home. But yeah, there's the Zastava. Woohoo! So after a mildly traumatic escape from my friend Colin's house, this sat-nav decided to take me a very peculiar route. I'm pleased to say we are heading home again, but it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's starting to get dark. It is going to be a long day. It's reckoning just under 3 hours until we're home. But yeah, poor Betty is absolutely filthy. But I'm very glad I'm in Betty. She's just a car for eating up these miles. You can almost Well, you can just drive her without thinking too much. I was thinking of bringing Ellie on this trip, but I think that would have been a bit too much noise, too much cold, and yeah, perhaps not the car for all this mile mentioning today. But we must do some miles in Ellie, and hopefully that will be soon. But yeah, onwards we go, onwards to home. But it's been a really long week, really, because on Sunday I drove over to Warwickshire to drive the Transit and the LDV Convoy, which I filmed on the Monday. And then I had one day at home where we were painting a house, packing merchandise, and video editing. And then I was back on the road again. Today is Wednesday, and 3 videos to come out today. This is the 3rd of them, sort of the travel vlog. Yeah, it's exhausting stuff and so depressing this time of year, because obviously it's a beautiful scenic drive, and I saw plenty of scenery this morning, but now I won't see it because it's getting dark. And yeah, it's just depressing driving through beautiful places when it's too dark to see anything. But where are we heading towards? Clearbury Mortimer, we'll go over Clee Hill and presumably Ludlow, etc. back home. So yeah, long day. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can subscribe if you like what we're doing. We're getting closer to the 100k, thank you. Don't forget, got calendars, might have Tuck models left at the time of recording, but they're selling fast, so they will go. So usual t-shirts and stuff. We've just got the Tools t-shirts. They hopefully by the time you see this will be back in stock with us, if not very soon. Tools black and blue t-shirts in stock. Sorry about running out of those in the run up to Christmas. Hoodies available, but we have to order them as you order them, so you need to allow at least 10 working days for those to get processed. And obviously Christmas coming, that's getting a bit tight now, so consider it a New Year present instead. And I'll see you in a future video. Farewell. Before, ew. Oh yeah, that's a bit more like it. I'll find a way to end the video. Beep.